Hey you guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Christina and I am a mom of 5 kids, and in today's video I am going to share with you my first impressions of both the Good and the Beautiful's U.S. Constitution unit and the United States Government mini unit by Gather Round Homeschool. Before we jump into both of these curriculums, I wanted to share with you that this video is a collaboration with a bunch of other moms who are sharing all different history and resources and books with you guys today. I cannot wait to watch this playlist because there are going to be lots of different moms sharing all different aspects of history. Some will cover like American history and world history and so many different things with you, and I'm really excited. They're sharing all different approaches and perspectives to homeschool, different age kids, different family dynamics. So I am pumped to watch this playlist. This collaboration is hosted by Leilani at Living with Eve, who I absolutely love. I am so excited that she asked me to be a part of this collaboration. If you do not know Leilani, she has experience with raising a beautiful special needs daughter as well as other children, and so she is the guru for all things teaching and homeschooling a special needs child. So if you are interested in that kind of content or any just encouragement, homeschool related, go check out Leilani's channel. I have her channel and the playlist linked down below. When you are done watching this video, make sure you check out the playlist below and check out Leilani's channel. And if you come across a mama whose channel you love, definitely subscribe, like their video, comment, and let them know that you came from here. It really means a ton to us mamas who share with you guys here on YouTube. I had originally planned on this year doing the U.S. Government mini unit by Gather Round Homeschool already. This was before the Good and the Beautiful announced that they were coming out with the U.S. Government and Constitution unit. So when I saw that, it was like, no, I already had this decided. Now I don't know what to do. I went back and forth, and finally I decided I'm going to get them both and see which one I like better and decide if I'm going to use one or the other, or find a way to use them together, or maybe use one first and the other one second, and all of those things. So first thing I want to do is share with you Gather Round United States Government mini unit. And this is the middle school book, and as you'll notice, I have not had it bound yet, but I'll probably do it this week. Now, I only printed the middle school because their middle school is listed, I want to say, for ages 12 to 15, and my son just turned 14 a few days ago. So the son that I have specifically in mind for this. Now, Gather Round, if you don't already know, is really created with the intention of being family style so that you can teach multiple age kids the same thing, and then the book work is at their level. And so what I like about Gather Round is that family style aspect, but you'll get a letter from Rebecca always, and then it gives you the scope and sequence. So it will tell you everything that is covered in this unit, and it's honestly a lot. And it includes social studies and history, language arts, Bible, and art. So I love that because it incorporates and pulls in different subject areas, even if the main area is science or history or whatever. There's always some type of book report, even in the mini units, which is pretty cool. And I'll think through kind of how I'll use that, whether I'll let him pick a book that relates, or if I'll have him do it with a book that I choose or a book off of the book list. I haven't picked any books yet for this. But then you have your table of contents, and it tells you in each lesson the topic that you're going to cover. So it starts off with origins of government, and then types of government, Declaration of Independence, our first government, the Constitution, ratification, amendments, civil rights, and all the way down. I won't read them all to you, but it brings it all the way to like media and civic duty and participation and all of those things. So what I like about Gather Round is it often brings it full circle to today at the end of their units. Like when we did the Indigenous Peoples mini unit last year, I loved how we got all of the history, and then we also got at the very end of the unit, it brought us to like Indigenous peoples in present day. So I like how they bring things full circle like that. And just to give you a peek at what some of the pages look like. So this is the notebooking page, which every Gather Round unit has as their first page of any day's lesson. And this is where it's kind of like their notes catcher where they will take notes. And they're guided notes, which is nice. So it's not just like randomly take notes. It kind of trains them how to take notes, which I think is kind of cool. Then this focuses on some major vocabulary that they will need to know. The main difference between a mini unit and their regular size units are the amount of notebook pages that they complete each day. So there are still 20 lessons, except for like the Christmas and Easter, which I think are 12. But the other mini units, there are still 20 lessons. There are just less pages for them to complete. So that's what makes it the mini unit. Lesson 2, they kind of have a Venn diagram here of indirect democracy versus republic. Narration questions in order to kind of check their understanding verbally, which I really like. It says you can narrate the answers or write them out on a separate sheet of paper. So you could either tell them what they're going to do or let them decide. This is creating an outline of the Constitution, which looks pretty cool. So I like that you're learning a lot, but they don't have a ton to write. I do like them to write a little bit, especially at this age, but it's not really writing heavy. So there's not like busy work and busy writing. It's specific things that they need to learn. So that is just to give you an overview of the mini unit. I don't always print out the teacher's guide. I've been doing that less and less, not only to save ink and to save paper, but because a lot of the times I screencast the teacher's guide to our TV anyway. But usually our Gather Round lessons are like a hang on the couch and pull it up on the TV. And then we're not passing around the teacher's guide because we typically will take turns reading sections, kind of break it up, just like when we do read alouds a lot of the time. So the teacher's guides are really beautiful and have really beautiful images in them. So I love being able to put that on the big screen for the kids. So that is Gather Round Homeschool. I really like what I see so far. I like that it has a wide range of things that it covers while still keeping the focus or the purpose being on US government. And I just want to show you like where you end at the very end. Or towards the end, you have like civil and criminal cases around lesson 13. You have political parties. You have elections. So it breaks down how elections go. And there is a presentation in this unit, which I think is pretty cool. And they'll work on that throughout the unit. So anyways, that is the Gather Round Homeschool US government mini unit, which I definitely am excited about. Next up is the Good and the Beautiful U.S. Constitution and Government. This is recommended for grades 4 through 8, but I definitely think littler guys will listen in and catch things, and you can definitely extend this up for high school. I will be using this as part of government credit for my 9th grader. This is the course book. It's pretty hefty. There is a lot of reading. There is a decent amount of reading too in Gather Round. What I like about this a lot is that I didn't have to print a thing. This is available for free as a digital download on the Good and the Beautiful, which I think is amazing. I typically don't order the Gather Round units in print because I do have so many kids and I like to be able to just not spend a ton of money and print them out myself. But for this, I really wanted the physical copy. I wanted the journals, which I'll show you, and the novel that goes along with it. So really beautiful color, thick glossy paper. It gives you a course overview in the beginning and it tells you the items that you need and all of that good stuff. It starts off talking about like what is truth. And I kind of like in the very beginning talking about truth, talking about bias, talking about like different perspectives. And I'm going to tell you, like, I did not read through this whole book before sharing this video with you guys. I will give you an updated video review once we work through these things, but I wanted to just give you my initial reactions and my plans for which one I was going to use or both or how. You have history case files, and what I love is there are sections where you are taking things out and cutting them up. And there are images. Here's Abigail Adams. So many things in here. What I like is that it coincides with the journal. So I did grab 2 of these journals. I wanted to get the coloring book for my first grader, but they were sold out by the time I ordered. So I'm kind of bummed. So I need to keep my eye out for that. But this is the journal, and there are certain times in here where it says journal time, and then it tells you exactly what you're going to do. I'm really impressed with the quality of this. I'm impressed with how in-depth it goes. There are different models that you make in here, like all the way in the back, a build your own Capitol building. There's build your own White House in here, and similar to some things that we have done in the past kind of on our own, we've printed out and brought in some kind of like model longhouses and things like when we were studying Indigenous peoples. So I know the kids will really like this a lot, the Supreme Court building. And so I just love that hands-on aspect. Let me show you a little bit of the journal. The journal is pretty cool. It is kind of like fill in the blank. It's also kind of like a doodle journal. They color it. Again, this touches on some of the same things: seeking truth, the 5 Ds, determining bias, detecting any underlying or hidden agenda, digging up trusted sources, distinguishing between types of sources, discovering context, all of those things. So it gives a timeline, attempts to abolish slavery, and all of these pages, both in here and in the course book, are perforated so that you could rip them out if you wanted to do that. So I really like how this covers a lot of people, but it also, like in here, you can see the different articles of the Constitution, and I think this looks really great. So my older 2 boys, who are 10 and 14, will each get one of these. We will read through this as a whole family. I really want my husband to be with us when we do this, because my husband and I talked about how like we want to learn more about the Constitution. Like we feel like we don't know enough, and we want to do that. So we are really excited to go through this together as a family. And what we have decided is that we will use them both. And I kind of want to toggle back and forth between the 2. I haven't decided yet if I am going to go through and map it all out or not. To be honest, I really like to be able to just open and go. And I'm okay if they don't align exactly. Like if we cover something in here and then in 2 weeks later we cover it again in the United States government mini unit from Gather Round Homeschool, I'm fine with that, because I'm sure it will present it in a little bit different of a way. They'll be, kind of thinking through it and doing activities with it in a different way. And it can even serve as sort of like a review. So kind of like almost like a spiral approach in a way. So I think we'll probably just toggle back and forth. Maybe one day we'll do this, one day we'll do that. I know that this one has more lessons in it. So this one has 32 lessons. So maybe obviously you wouldn't be able to go 1 for 1, but there are many ways that you could incorporate both of these. Also, that goes along with this unit, which I am super excited about, because if you know me, you know how much I love books. That is the novel that goes along with this unit. It comes with it, and it is included and woven into the lessons. And this is Mystery on Constitution Island. And it says, learning about the U.S. Constitution becomes an exciting adventure when the Bailey family sets out to explore a private island in search of answers to mysterious riddles left by their late grandfather. A maritime mistake sparks a chain of events, bringing to light a valuable artifact and an unexpected threat. In accompaniment to the Good and the Beautiful U.S. Government and Constitution course, this fact-filled adventure story provides the perfect setting for parents and children to come together and learn more about the foundation and significance of the U.S. Constitution. So, pumped about the book portion of this study. I do want to mention, though, Gather Round always has a book list with all of their units from pre-reader all the way up to high school to read aloud. So there are plenty of things to choose from there as well. But I just love that this one is woven in and included. Love that. I'm super excited about this. I know that there has been controversy surrounding this unit. I don't want to get into a ton of that. I don't want to debate with anyone about it. What I will say is this. I understand people have strong opinions about things regarding government and political parties and faith and race and all of those things. And I have beliefs too, but I haven't come across anything overly startling that would completely make me not give this a try. I also have kids that are very well-rounded in their thinking in terms of history. We did all of last year, we did O Freedom, a conscious U.S. history curriculum, which gave specific attention to people of color, Indigenous people, and their perspective and their voices being left out of a lot of our history. So I will say this, although I didn't plan on going here in this video. Critical race theory is such a hot button topic. It is one of those terms that has become such a dividing term. And to me, I really hate division. As a Christian, I see division as coming from the enemy. And I think it's okay for us to have different opinions. I think it's okay for us to learn from each other. And if we can't see eye to eye, to just kind of like agree to disagree, pray through it, but don't let it be something that divides us, because that's what the enemy wants. That's not what God wants. And so I want to say this about critical race theory. I think, like anything, people have different perspectives and understanding of what things even mean. Okay, and if you take away any preconceived notions of that terminology, if you take away the way the media and politics have used it as a way to spark outrage, and you break down truly what that term means, critical, which means you are taking a questioning and critical thinking perspective and looking at things in a new way. So critical does not always mean a negative thing, right? Like, as an ELA teacher, as an English teacher, as someone who teaches critical thinking, teaches bias, teaches rhetoric, and all of those things, teaching kids and adults to think critically about the information that they're being presented is important, right? Understanding that there's always another side to a story. So before you allow yourself to become consumed with this notion that it is a demonizing thing in and of itself, think about what it's actually saying. It is questioning race and the part that it has played in not only the formation of our country, but also the formation of our shared history, our understanding of historical events and how things have played out all the way up to where we are today. The realities are that race did play a role in the formation of this country. And so I do think it can be taken, use critical race theory to take it all the way to where you nail all white people to the cross, right? Like, make it completely divisive. And it can also be taken in the extreme opposite direction, where any white person sees critical race theory as a threat to them and shaming them as a white person. And you could take it to that extreme. Or we could meet in the middle and say, let's have the hard conversations. Let's hear each other out. Let's realize that maybe our understanding isn't someone else's understanding. And so, again, I did not plan on talking about anything controversial either with the unit or about critical race theory or any hot button topics, but I just feel like it's one of those things that you have to really think about it. So, are there voices being left out in any history of any country that you're learning about, or your understanding of the way events took place? And this can go all the way down to the micro level of like family structures. And this, again, is not something I plan to talk about, but like, I am someone who experienced divorce. And this is not a perfect analogy, but I will tell you this. If you hear one side of the story, your belief about the truth about what happened, your perspective of the other person, your perspective of the person who you heard it from, and everything that has to do with it and everything that was affected by it is very limited. You don't have the whole picture. There are bound to be some truths in that story, right? But there are bound to be some things that are not the whole truth. And so if you look at that story of that event with a critical eye, it'll cause you to ask some questions about what's left out of this story. And I can tell you, as someone who was very demonized for what I went through, and people only getting one side of the story and one perspective, I am very sensitive to how dangerous that can be. And so my encouragement to you is just to have an open mind. And so for me, having a balanced perspective, sharing multiple different sources with my children, talking through it and thinking through it and all of those things together and teaching them how to form their opinions and their perspectives is very valuable to me. Now, granted, if I come across something that is in stark contrast to my beliefs or in stark contrast to what I believe to be right, not that I think challenges my comfort, because that's a different thing, right? Or even challenges my thinking. That's not what I mean, but it is in direct opposition to like my beliefs in my faith or what I think is appropriate for my children or anything like that. That's a different story. That's kind of like, okay, I think we're done with this at that point. But until then, I am going to dive into both of these units until I see a reason to otherwise, which I'm hoping doesn't happen. I've had really good conversations with a lot of different moms when like this controversy was at its height, where I genuinely wanted to know, like, is there something to be concerned here? Maybe there is. At this point, I'm not convinced. I'm also not completely unconvinced that there might be something questionable in here that I don't agree with, but I'm going to find out for myself. So I will keep you guys posted. Please keep the comments positive, guys. Please don't go off in any like political rants. I love you guys and I love freedom of speech. And I love that we can have different perspectives, but I also know that it is a very fine line between let me share my perspective and let me prove that I am right and you are wrong, and I am smart and you are dumb, and I am Christian and you are not. Please don't do that, guys. But I know that some of these issues can be issues that people have strong feelings about. So my prayer is that I can give you guys some balanced perspective on these things, because I like to think I have a pretty balanced perspective. So anyways, let me know if you have used either of these units. Let me know if you liked them. If you didn't like them, it's okay to say it, but try not to be like nasty. If you're new here, introduce yourself down below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It does really help my little channel here on YouTube, and I super appreciate it. I am not affiliated with either of these companies, but I will throw the links down below for you so you can check them out for yourselves. Don't forget to check out the playlist linked down below, as well as Leilani's channel, who hosted this awesome history collaboration. And if you are not already subscribed to my channel, I would love if you stick around. I do share curriculum and book hauls and motherhood and family life and parenting and all of the things. Day in the lives, sometimes a little food, random organization, all of the things. So if any of that interests you, I hope you'll stick around. And until next time, stay rooted.